One of the amazing things about human potential is that it gives us the chance to become the strongest versions of ourselves. I'd like to welcome you to a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. Along this path, you will find the keys to unlocking your greatest potential. As we start this journey of change, it is important to remember that real power comes from within. Outside praise or financial things don't measure it. What does is how strong, resilient, and clear-headed we are on the inside. You need to tap into the source of promise that lies deep inside you if you want to become the strongest version of yourself. The goal is to use the power of resolve, discipline, and self-mastery to reach your biggest goals and dreams. Throughout history, many people have become famous by letting the power inside them shine. Their stories show how the human spirit can change things, from visionaries who tried to go against the grain to trailblazers who made new paths where none had existed before. As we start this trip together, let's let go of the things that hold us back, like fear and self-doubt. Let's be excited about all the options that are out there for us and fully commit to reaching our full potential. By doing this, we shine a light on the way to becoming our strongest selves. You have a current idea of who you are and a dream idea of who you could become. The second one is a picture of the person you want to be. Brian Tracy is about to give an important speech. Take it easy, write things down, and watch the whole movie to make sure you don't miss anything important that could change your life. The ideal self is made up of the traits of all the people, both men and women, you have admired throughout your life. That is, assuming you read biographies and autobiographies of real people instead of superficial ones about drunk rock stars and other people. When you read about wonderful people from poor beginnings like Madame Curie, Thomas Edison, or Mother Teresa, who went on to do great things, you start to want to be like them. You take on their traits as if they were a part of you by learning about their stories and qualities. So, when you're in situations that call for bravery, drive, or happiness, you picture yourself acting like the people you look up to. You develop a higher and clearer mental ideal as you read more stories about famous people. This goal becomes the model you use to judge your own progress. Then there is a dynamic conflict between the person you are now and the person you want to be. Becoming is very important. Know that someone who thinks they're great isn't really willing to get better. When someone thinks they are their best self, they often don't have the unconscious urge to be more like them. This is the reason why you should think about and talk about the people you respect. For many young people today, the worst thing is that they look up to heroes like divas, rock stars, basketball players, dancers, and more. Those are the people they look up to. You can also ask, who do they look up to? Who do they look up to? What do they talk about? What do they watch? Who do they play again? Who do they talk about? And so on. And that's not good for you because these people aren't good examples for kids. People shouldn't look up to them. When I was growing up and coming from a bad home, role models, mostly guys, took me in and changed my life in big ways for the better. They became examples for me, and I still look up to them after all these years. I remember that I wanted to be someone they would like. Someone once asked Somerset Maugham why he wrote so much, and he replied with a beautiful line that I think fits life. He said, "I write to earn the respect of the people I respect." I've learned that's what we do in life too. The things we do are meant to earn the respect of those we value, and make sure you don't lose their respect. There are many of us who would do terrible things and give up a lot to keep the respect of someone we value. It's very important to know whose respect you value, who matters the most to me, whom do I really care about? Then you think about what you should or shouldn't do to get or keep this person's respect. You don't need to know them. They can be great people. What you think about yourself now is different from how much you like yourself, which is your self-ideal. Also, I found something interesting. This is your self-image, and this is your self-ideal. You are now the best person you could be. The two are constantly tense with each other. Your self-esteem goes up every time you do something in the present that fits with the person you want to be. You care more about and like yourself more. In the short run, your self-esteem goes down every time you do or say something that irritates, angers, or makes you irritable. Or every time you change from the person you really want to be. Since this is the case, great people are always trying to change how they act to become more like the person they most admire. You like and respect yourself more every time you do something that makes you more like the best person you can be. being the things that you know other people will respect. The things that the people you admire the most would show becomes a way of life. It's not small, but it's very big. The difference between how you see yourself and how you want to be is a big part of your self-esteem. If this gap gets smaller, it means you feel good about your self-worth. If it grows because you said or did something you don't like and are aware that you're not happy about it, your self-esteem will go down. Your self-esteem and confidence will go up if you try to be like your dream self. And when someone says nice things about you that make you feel like a better person, you're really happy because you know you're getting closer to your big goal. Before you can change how you think about yourself, you have to first see the change as something you want and need. Remember how we said that you have to really want to change a light bulb? You have to think that changing is good, something you want, and something you have to do if you want to reach your full potential. Being a very well-controlled, organized, and positive person is part of your self-concept. You might say, this is essential if I want to have the most influence in my circle, or even become a great salesman. If you see yourself as wanting to be very organized, and know that you need to be organized to do well in a competitive business, then you see it as both desirable and important. The thing that moves you forward is passion. Second, begin to picture yourself as you want to be. Think about it some more. The nice guy, John Irov, made a program called The Inner Game of Financial Success. He got a call from a writer named Timothy Galway, who wrote Inner Tennis 30 years ago and has since written Inner Golf. What he says fits perfectly with what we're learning here. He said that think like you're already a tennis world winner if you want to get better at the game. Think about how you would act if you were a world winner and then act like you are one. Interestingly, your ability gets better. If you pretend to be a world winner while you play tennis, you'll get better. Think that you're already a great player if you want to get better. Think about how much you like this. You'll get better at golf if you pretend that you're already a great player. He calls it the inner game of tennis. You can call it the inner game of golf. I told you about my friend who was really good at karate and helped them picture themselves being great at what they wanted to do. Do not be tense or worried. Instead, think of yourself as a winner and one of the best people. People have come to see you because you're so good at what you do. He did very well, got better grades, and won more events than he had before when he went up there. He said it was simple. It was easy because your mind orders everything you do so that it fits with this new picture. Start picturing yourself and make clear pictures in your mind. A picture you imagine is an order to your subconscious mind. When you picture yourself doing your best, your subconscious mind plans your actions and behaviors to match the picture you just fed it. It's almost like the picture is the command or the seed, and your thought is the garden. Your subconscious mind makes the action you think about happen. How people see themselves is a very interesting field of study. Imagine yourself being happy, successful, and full of confidence. As you think about these things, you will start to act in ways that match your mental picture. Of course, it's normal for you to act in this way. As we've already said, every time you visualize, your subconscious interprets it as a new command, as if you'd done it again. Keep playing the image over and over again before every important event, and you'll be successful. I may be getting ahead of myself a bit, but your image needs to be clear, vivid, and exciting. In other words, the more clear your picture is of how you'll perform or how you'll look in the future, the faster it will come true. The most important thing is that it is bright. That's why you put the pictures of a house where you can see them when you go to look at it or take pictures of it. Read design magazines with pictures of beautiful homes or home and garden articles about beautiful homes or sunsets. Look at those pictures to feed your mind, almost like putting them into your mental computer. Finally, your mind's computer works hard to quickly find you the kind of home you want. I'll tell you a short story. A couple came to my talk in Edmonton when I was living there. He was sent from Toronto, which is 3,000 miles to the east, to Edmonton, which is growing. While she was packing, they put their house on the market. He came first to find a house and meet new people. He began this process after going to my class in Toronto 3 or 4 years ago. After going to my class in Toronto, they started using this method. There was a scrapbook nearby, and they cut out pictures of pretty homes from magazines and stuck them in. This house was their dream home. After about 3 years, he was moved, but they kept adding pictures to the book while he was gone. One day, they saw an article in Better Homes and Gardens magazine about the perfect house. It was beautiful and had everything they wanted. The living room, the bathrooms, the views, the garden. The view from the front of the house over the valley, the beautiful landscaping inside, and the rooms on the second floor. They took this whole picture out and put it in their album. They would get out the book and open it every weekend, getting lost in the pictures to clear their minds. They imagined walking through that house, being in the living room, cooking in the kitchen, sleeping in the bedroom, and taking in the view from the house. Every week until he was sent back to Edmonton, they did this again and again. He got in touch with a few real estate agents. They told them about a house from Better Homes and Gardens that wasn't available at that time, but would be offered by their company on Saturday. One of them wasn't interested, but the other told them about it. They agreed to let him show them the house if they were interested. They had dinner together after his wife got there Friday night. They had been dreaming of this house for 3 years. The next morning, the real estate agent picked them up at the Westin Hotel in downtown Edmonton and took them to the best part of town, West Edmonton, to see the house that looked like it was from Better Homes and Gardens. "Oh my God, this is the house!" they yelled as they walked in. The only house they saw was that one, and the next question was whether they could afford it. It turned out that the price, terms, down payment, and start date for moving in were all perfect. After a few months, they sold their house in Toronto, packed up, and moved into the new house, where they stayed. At that time, they thought it was amazing because it was the house from Better Homes and Gardens that they had dreamed of having. Does it really work? Yes, this is the house. Does it work? I am in right now. There were 42 things on our list of things we wanted in a house. We moved twice before we got to San Diego. We found 41 of the 42 things in this house when we got there. The missing item, number 42, was a built-in cleaning system. We hired a maid because of this. Does it work? Yes, and what do you need? A bit of paper. Your mother will give you a piece of paper if you can't pay for one. In any case, she wants you to leave the house. So, what do you look like? It's important that your picture is clear. The clearer it is, the faster it will come true. Affirmations are strong. Good things you say to yourself and really believe. The things you tell yourself and believe are the most powerful in the world, making promises. You have a lot of promise for the future. To put it another way, you mostly become what you tell yourself. If you say something over and over, it gets programmed deeper and deeper into your mind until it starts to show up in your life. For example, the man who wrote down 101 goals and saw them all come true in 12 years. I've heard stories like that before, but this one is really cool. You can use the 3 P's to shape your affirmations. First, they need to be about you. The word I should always come first in a statement. I am, I earn, I achieve, I weigh. Second, it needs to be good. I am responsible. I am a millionaire. Third, it needs to be in the present tense. I earn X amount of dollars a year. I weigh X amount of pounds. I drive a BMW. I live in a custom 3,500 square foot home. That's exactly what one of my grads did. In the past, he lost his job after the seminar, which he considered to be very bad. One of his goals was to live in a new custom 3,500 square foot home. In just 1 year, he had 2 different jobs, made more money, and was closing on the house. After a year, he came back to my class. He was completing the sale of the house. It was a lovely custom-built home that the builder had chosen to sell instead of living in himself. Does it really work? You can't be sure, but what if it does? Affirmations really do work. When you talk to yourself, always be nice. When you write down your goals, say them out loud. I earn this amount of money. I weigh this amount of pounds. I live in such a house. I have such a net worth, and more. It's important to say your mantras out loud. It's 2 or 3 times more powerful to say something out loud than to yourself. That's why football leaders say, okay, what are we going to do? We're going to beat them out loud before a game. It gets them more excited than whispering it to themselves. This is what you should say to yourself or read out loud in front of a mirror. I like myself. I can do it. I feel great. When I say this out loud and share it with other people, I always say, I feel great when they ask me how I'm feeling day or night. Even when I was getting treatment for cancer last year, it was still a very interesting time. I told people I felt great when they asked how I was. It might not have been fully true, but I told you the truth ahead of time. It is very important to speak out loud. Just saying your statement out loud makes it 80% more powerful. The 6th P takes on the job. Be the person you want to be by acting like you already are that person. Do what they say and how they walk. When salespeople go to see a client, I tell them to imagine that the client is very wealthy. This way they will really make an impact, that they are worth $100 million, but one of their hobbies is going to see people for a friend who owns a business. Making sales calls is fun for them because it lets them meet new people. They act like they're worth $1 billion and don't care if the person buys or not. They like to talk to them, find out what they need, and help them if they can, even if the customer doesn't buy. Because they are rich, they don't care much. They only do it for a friend. This mindset of, I am already rich, takes away the desperate sound in your voice. Take on the part. Act like you are already that person. Act like you're already well known if you want to become well known. Behave like you're already well known. We already said that feelings will lead to actions, and actions will lead to feelings. Taking on the part and walking, talking, and acting like the person you want to be will make you feel that way, and you will act that way. After that, the way you act will make you feel that way. This idea of reversibility is very strong. Make it seem like you're already great. If you want to feel something, you can act like you already have it. Fake it until you make it is what we say. Even if you only act like you have the quality, you will start to feel it in minutes. You will start to feel strong if you act like you are. You will start to feel happy if you act like you are happy. Finally, take on the role. The four are to picture, confirm, speak out loud, and act as if you have already reached your goal and are a huge success. As we get closer to the end of our trip, keep in mind that becoming the strongest version of yourself isn't easy. It takes determination, persistence, and a strong desire to grow as a person. Don't give up though. Every step you take forward brings you closer to reaching your full ability. Enjoy the trip, be happy about your wins, and learn from your losses. That's because real power is made in the fire of experience. May you never lose sight of the amazing power that lives inside you as you continue to walk this road. You have the power to become unbelievably great and to change your fate in ways that fulfill your deepest desires. You have the courage, strength, and drive to get past any problem that stands in your way. So go out and do it with confidence. If you want to become the most powerful version of yourself, you need to accept your power, your potential, and the end